Once upon a time, in a valley surrounded by silver-tipped mountains, there lived a poor woodcutter named Brahm and his daughter, Elara. Their cottage was small and simple, with smoke drifting from its crooked chimney and herbs drying above the windows. Though they lived humbly, they were content. Brahm worked hard each day in the forest, and Elara kept their home bright and warm with laughter. Yet there was one thing that made Elara different from every child in the valley. She had never seen her own reflection. The cottage had no mirror. Brahm, who knew more of the world than he let on, never brought one home, no matter how Elara begged. When she asked why, he always gave the same answer. Some things are meant to be seen, others are meant to be discovered. Elara never understood, but she trusted her father. One winter evening, while Brahm was out gathering firewood, Elara noticed a shimmer between the trees behind their cottage. It wasn't the glow of the moon or the gleam of snow. It was something warmer, like candlelight swirling in the air. Curiosity tugged at her. Wrapping her cloak around her shoulders, she stepped into the woods. The light grew brighter until she came upon a hollow oak, ancient and split down the middle like an open door. Inside its trunk glistened a mirror unlike any she had ever imagined. Its frame was made of vines that twined around tiny silver leaves, and the glass shimmered as though lit from within. As she stood before it, the surface rippled. A voice whispered from deep inside, "At last, the one I seek." Elara gasped and stepped back, but it was too late. The glass began to swirl like a whirlpool. Her reflection, her own face, looked out, but the eyes were brighter, older, knowing. "Who are you?" Elara whispered. The reflection smiled gently. "I am the mirror within. I show not just what is, but what may be." Elara did not know what that meant, but she felt no fear. Instead, she felt a strange pull, as though the mirror had been waiting for her. The reflection stretched out its hand. The glass rippled like water, inviting her to touch it. Elara reached out, only to hear her father's voice. "Elara, step away from it."
Elara, stay away from the mirror.
Brahm, what are you doing?
She jumped and turned. Brahm ran toward her, snow flying behind him. He reached the mirror and shut the hollow with his arm. The glowing glass flickered. "The child has found me, Brahm," the mirror whispered. Brahm's jaw tightened. "She is not ready." Elara stared at him. "Father, what is this? Why didn't you tell me?" Brahm sighed deeply, his breath clouding the cold air. "Because magic never gives without asking." He guided her home, but all night Elara could not sleep. Her reflection, alive, waiting, burned in her thoughts. Over the following days, the mirror whispered to her from the forest. Sometimes its voice drifted on the wind. Sometimes she saw tiny glimmers in puddles or the shine on an icicle. It wasn't frightening, just persistent, like a gentle reminder. One evening, when Brahm was delayed in the forest, Elara felt the call again. "Come, Elara, see what lies within you." She could resist no longer. Back to the hollow oak she ran. The mirror brightened when she arrived, glowing like a full moon caught in its frame. "Why do you call me?" she asked. Her reflection answered, "Because you carry a gift untapped. The mirror shows truth, but only to one who walks between worlds, one born with a waking spirit. Ilara frowned. "I don't understand." The reflection lifted its hand again. "Touch the glass, the truth will unfold." Ilara hesitated only a moment before reaching out. The glass was cold, then warm, then suddenly she was pulled inward, not falling, but floating, sinking into soft light. When her feet touched solid ground again, she found herself standing in a vast hall of mirrors. Each one shimmered with different colors, blue like winter sky, gold like sunlight, green like spring leaves. Her reflection appeared beside her, alive and separate. These mirrors hold stories, some true, some possible, all connected to your heart. Ilara stepped to the first mirror. It showed her cottage warm and glowing, her father smiling. She felt comforted. The second mirror showed her as a grown woman leading travelers through the mountains, strong and confident. But the third mirror showed something very different. A storm swirling over the valley, dark vines creeping across rooftops, and at the center, a figure that looked like Ilara, but older, her eyes shining with a strange power. Ilara stepped back in fear. "No, that isn't me." Her reflection, her guide, touched her shoulder gently. "It is one possible future if your gift becomes tangled with fear or longing." The mirror shows not destiny, but crossroads. Ilara swallowed hard. "Then what is my gift?" Her reflection smiled, a warm, gentle expression that eased her trembling. "You were born to carry light into hidden places, to see truth where others see shadows. That is why the mirror called you." Ilara felt a glow spark inside her chest. "And my father? Did he know?" "He has always known." Ilara's heart ached with questions, but before she could speak, a deep rumble echoed through the hall. Mirrors flickered, shadows stretched along the floor. Her reflection turned sharply. "It is time to leave. You have seen what you must." The hall dissolved in a whirl of mist, and Ilara found herself back before the hollow oak. Brahm raced toward her, snow swirling around his boots. He took her in his arms. "Ilara, are you hurt?" She shook her head. "No, father, but the mirror showed me things about myself, and it showed a darkness too." Brahm closed his eyes. "I feared that." They stood together at the hollow oak. Inside, the mirror glowed gently. "You cannot hide me from her now, Brahm," the mirror whispered. "Her path begins." Brahm looked weary as winter. "I only wished to protect her." Ilara touched his arm. "You taught me to be brave. I must choose what path I walk." The mirror showed that too. The mirror brightened, shimmering like dawn. "Ilara," the mirror said, "you may take me from the oak and keep me as your guide, learning to shape the light within you. Or you may leave me here, return to ordinary life, and your gift will sleep forever. Neither choice is wrong." Ilara's heart pounded. A life of simple peace or a life filled with magic and responsibility? She looked at her father. His eyes were full of love, but also trust. "I will not decide for you," Brahm said softly. "Your life is your own to shape." Ilara turned to the mirror. The glass shimmered with her reflection, calm, hopeful, unafraid. "I choose to keep the mirror, but only if I can use its magic to help, not harm." The mirror glowed brighter than ever. "Then I shall be your companion." its vines untwined from the oak, folding neatly into a delicate, hand-held shape. Elara picked it up. It felt warm, alive. Brahm placed a hand on her shoulder. "Your path will be difficult, but I believe in you." Elara smiled. "I believe in myself, too." From that day forward, the magic mirror lived in their cottage. It did not chatter or command, it guided. When Elara studied unusual herbs, the mirror showed her how they glowed with hidden light. When she helped lost travelers find their way, it illuminated safe paths. When storms rolled over the valley, it showed her how to calm frightened hearts. As the years passed, Elara grew into the woman the mirror had once shown. Strong, wise, and brave, walking confidently through the mountains and forests. But she never became the dark figure from the third mirror. She chose her path every day with kindness, courage, and care. And the mirror, once hidden in a hollow oak, shone proudly at her side, no longer an object of mystery, but a true friend. And so Elara's story lived on, whispered in the valley for generations.